I told you before, I'm not buying from any black market. I didn't ask you to come in here, and I don't want your stuff. Now get out.
Don't get excited, Mr. Jensen. You need that metal. Where else can you get it?
I don't know. I need it all right, but not for $3 a pound. What is it, stolen? You're wasting my time. Get out of here.
The lady offered you a nice business proposition. You shouldn't talk rough.
Code 3.
My name is Barrett, Assistant Sheriff, Los Angeles County. This is a story which concerns itself with a government-allocated material. Nickel, a strategic metal, is a scarce commodity. When a commodity is in great demand, a criminal can find lots of buyers. No questions asked. Sergeant Murchison and Deputy Todd were assigned the case.
There it is, gentlemen. Nickel anodes, my entire stock. And it's all legitimate. I'll close up before I'll buy from her.
Did she leave a name, address, phone number, anything like that?
No, I told you I wasn't buying, so who cared? I think she said her name was Randall or Crandall. I don't know. I'm no good at names.
How much of one of these weigh?
About 30 pounds.
How many pounds was she offering?
She said she had 4,400 pounds.
4,400. That's quite a bundle.
Yeah, and $3 a pound she was asking for it, while the government price is only $1.05. She's a crook. She and that muscle man of hers, a couple of crooks.
Any idea why they came to you? There are other bigger shops in town, aren't there?
She's probably selling it all over. Anybody'd pay the price. None of us are getting enough.
Why?
There isn't enough. Chrome. Everybody wants chromes. Bumpers, household fixtures, doctor's equipment, everything. Chrome. And you can't chrome right without nickel. That's the best. You get a certain allotment, and that's it.
If you don't get enough, then what?
Well, fill out the forms and you wait. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. In the meantime, if you haven't got enough, well, you might as well close up.
Did you ever see this man and woman before?
And they'll sell it all right. There are plenty of platers around town that need nickel bad enough, and they won't ask any questions.
But you reported it. Why?
Because I'm sick and tired of sick and tired of chiselers. Trying to run a legitimate business. If the government thinks nickel is important enough to allocate it, then they must have their reasons.
They got their reasons. You sure we can't drive you over to the hospital?
No, I'll be all right.
Would you mind coming downtown with us for maybe an hour or so? You might be a big help.
Be glad to.
Any of them look familiar?
No, not yet.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Jensen.
If you find them, you want somebody for identification, I'll be around.
We'll give you a call. Oh, Mr. Jensen. How much nickel would you say your plant uses in a month?
Oh, I'd say about 500-600 pounds.
Is that normal consumption for an average plating operation?
Well, we're not the biggest outfit. We're not the smallest either. I'd say somewhere between 700 and 800 pounds.
Thanks a lot for your cooperation, Mr. Jensen.
Anytime.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
4,400 pounds. That's enough to keep him in business for 7 or 8 months.
I checked the files. No burglaries of nickel reported in the area. Could that stuff be legitimate?
Be legitimate for $1.05 a pound. That's a lot of pounds for one dealer to be selling legally.
Especially through a good-looking girl?
Especially through a good-looking girl.
Sergeant Murchison and Deputy Wells covered 23 plating concerns that day. seeking the elusive sales lady and her muscular escort. Nobody could help them, or if they could, they preferred not to. It wasn't until the next morning at the Stacy plant that Murchison got the first lead.
Sure, I know her. She was here just a couple of days ago. Classy looking, all milk and honey where it shows.
Did you ever see her before?
No, I'd remember her if I did.
Stuff's so hard to get, why didn't you buy?
I'm not greedy. I just started this business 3 years ago. I'm satisfied to bill slow.
Did she leave a card, name, phone number, anything like that?
Oh, it was Kendall. When I told her I wasn't having any, she just walked. Big smile, nice walk.
If she drops around again, I'd appreciate it if you gave us a call.
You know, the guy that was with her, he used to drive a truck for the uniform supply company. He used to make deliveries here.
Do you know his name?
Joe. Joe something or other. Hey, maybe he still works there. Hello. This is Bill Stacy. I'm looking for a guy who used to drive for you. Joe Dilling. Uh-huh. I wanted to locate him. He left there 3 months ago.
Ask him if they know where he's working now.
Do you know where he's working now? Uh-huh. I got it. Thanks. There you are. Plumbing supply company out on Alameda. Do you any good?
Step in the right direction. How'd you like to be a good citizen? I think I can use your help.
You're looking at a frustrated detective? Do I have time to get out of these things?
If you're putting up for Miss Kendall, don't. I got a feeling she's trouble. What's going on over there?
Oh, that's a junkyard. Scrap metal, tons of it.
Why are they dropping all that stuff in the hole there?
Oh, that's a kind of a metal compressor. With that thing, they can squeeze a car down till it's about the size of a suitcase. Wonder what they do with all that scrap metal.
I don't know. Probably ship it to Japan.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Something I can do for you?
Lots.
Haven't I met you before?
Sure. You were up to my plant a couple of days ago. You had some nickel anodes you were trying to sell.
You changed your mind?
No, but this is Harry Jones. He's got a plating plant up in Las Vegas. I don't need the nickel, but Harry does.
I'm gonna need quite a bit. I got orders that call for about 800 pounds a month, and they're only sending me 3.
Maybe we can help you.
You got it here?
This way.
Hiya, Joe.
Hi.
Well, there it is. 4,400 pounds.
£4,400. I have orders on file to use every ounce of this. How much?
$3 a pound. Cash.
It's a little high, isn't it?
I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. That's the price. I'm only acting as agent.
It's like I said, Harry. If you want it bad enough, you can't get it in the other place.
I know, but... Well, I don't want to get in any trouble.
Well, there won't be any. Take it and use it. Nobody will bother you.
Is it hot?
Mr. Jones, this came from a very well-known company. They need the money, and they asked me to sell it.
I'll take it all. But I can't go to $3. Now, $1.05 is the legal rate. I'll double it.
My client wouldn't be interested.
Make it 2.5, cash on the line.
The price is $3, Mr. Jones. It isn't up to me. My client...
Well, call your client. See if he'll accept my offer. If he will, you can always get in touch with me through Stacy's plant.
We have an offer for $275. The party's picking up the merchandise tomorrow. If you want it for $3, you can have it. But you'll have to decide now.
You got me cornered.
I'm only following instructions.
Could you hold it till tomorrow morning so I could talk to my partner?
Be back by 5:30 this afternoon with the money, and it'll still be here.
Well, it's not only my partner. I have to raise the cash. Hold it till tomorrow morning.
We close at 5:30.
It's 2:30 now.
Then you'd better hurry.
SN288.
What's that?
License number of the truck. The anodes came from National Nickel, marked E9641S.
You sure didn't miss anything. No, I was just thinking. What if she took that 2.5 a pound? The sheriff's office would have owned 2 tons of nickel.
Had to figure out some way to stall her, to find out if that stuff is stolen and where.
What if I ought to ask her for a date?
Do what you want, Stace, but you better hurry. I don't think they let him out at night at the county jail. Yes, sir. I'd like to know where and when those anodes were shipped. Yeah. Could you put a check on it and call me back right away? Thank you very much. Anything?
Lita Kendall, real name. Born in Cleveland, lived there until a couple of years ago. Secretary, typist, sales lady, fling at show business. The plumbing outfit is in Joe Dilling's name. Lita's Joe's wife. 2 kids, no record. Neither is she. That's it.
What about the truck?
Registered to the plumbing company. Same address.
That plumbing company's at front. They got old-time fixtures, old-time plumbing, yet they got a brand new truck. Now, you can't tell me they bought that truck selling plumbing.
No way of putting a hold on the nickel?
Well, what evidence? Of course, if you got $13,000 or $14,000. Anyway, we know where it is till 5:30, I think. Yeah, hello. Yes, this is Sergeant Murchison. It's the National Nickel Company in Detroit. Could I have that address, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. Those anodes were shipped to the Manning Corporation about 6 months ago.
Manning Corporation, that's a big outfit. They would have reported a loss 5 minutes after they discovered it.
That is, if they discovered it. You keep a stakeout on that plumbing shop. Let me know if that truck moves. Let's go.
The time was 3:30 before Sergeant Murchison reached the Manning Corporation's offices. There was a lot to do and very little time left to do it in. The hardest part of a detective's job is the waiting. Waiting for phone calls, for interviews, for information. It is the interminable delays that make his work nerve-wracking.
Thank you very much. Sergeant, sorry to keep you waiting. What can I do for you? Well, Sergeant.
Mr. Manning, we've come across 4,400 pounds of nickel anodes being offered for sale to the local platers by a plumbing concern over in Firestone Park.
4,400 pounds? Where would they get it?
That's what we'd like to know. You're the West Coast distributor for the National Nickel Company.
We handle over 30% of their total output.
When was the last time you inventoried your nickel stock?
About 2 weeks ago.
Any of it missing?
No?
There's every indication that this nickel was stolen.
Not from us, or it would have been reported. Sergeant, I have people waiting for me. Let me get Mr. James, the head of the warehouse.
Mr. Manning, how do you account for a local plumbing company having over 2 tons of nickel that was shipped to you?
Shipped to us? How do you know?
The anodes were numbered. National Nickel Company verified the shipment.
Might be distressed merchandise sold through a third party.
Do you know of any local plating concern that would have that much nickel to sell off?
Well, frankly, no.
Mr. Manning, that nickel came from this plant. And they're selling it for 3 times the government allocated price.
I don't see how, Sergeant.
Is it possible that somebody could be tampering with your sales records and selling it for oversealing?
Absolutely not. Our books are open for inspection at any time.
Could I see him?
Why, certainly. Mrs. Barton. Mrs. Barton,
Yes, Mr. Manning?
please bring in your records on nickel sales and deliveries for the past year.
Yes, sir.
There won't be any irregularity, Sergeant. I can assure you of that. Every ounce can be accounted for.
Mrs. Barton's books appeared to be in perfect order. The shipments from National Nickel tallied exactly with those sold and delivered by the Manning Corporation. There were more than 200 accounts, each one a user of the strategic metal. The accounts tallied, but Murchison knew that if there was something wrong, it would take weeks to check them. Weeks. And Murchison had 3/4 of an hour to find the leak before the evidence was removed.
We don't sell plumbing companies, do we, Mrs. Barton?
No, sir. Most of our accounts are plating concerns.
Well, the plumbing company got it. 4,400 pounds of it. Now, where? Did they buy it, steal it, or what?
Well, there's another possibility. You yourself said you saw only 2 or 3 anodes with our stampings. The rest of the metal might have come from anywhere. New York, Cleveland, Chicago.
There's one way to find out.
How?
Go down there and examine the rest of it.
All right. Cancel my appointments, Mrs. Jennings. I'll be back in an hour. You come with us, Mrs. Barton.
Well, I have to get my handbag.
Can we bring this?
Oh, certainly. Bring along the records.
Yes, sir.
This is it, folks. Everybody out.
Good afternoon. Is there anything I can help you with?
I thought I was in time. I wanted to have another look at the nickel.
Nickel? What nickel? I'm sorry, but we don't allow our customers in the storeroom.
Where is it?
I don't understand what you're talking about, Sheriff.
How'd you know I was a sheriff?
You look like one. We're just closing, but if you're interested in fixtures, I'd be glad to.
Fixtures? What about the nickel, Sergeant?
Miss Kendall can tell us about the nickel.
Miss Kendall is closing the store and going home.
All right, Joe. What'd you do with it?
What's he talking about?
I wish I knew.
This truck was loaded with nickel 3 hours ago, and you took it someplace. Now, where? All right. Let's all go down to headquarters and have a talk.
Are you arresting us?
What for?
What are the charges?
Inside.
I asked you, what are the charges?
No charges. I just want to know more about some nickel you've been trying to sell me. 4,400 pounds.
What would we be doing with 4,400 pounds of nickel?
That's over 2 tons.
How could we get rid of 2 tons of anything?
I don't know.
What is it?
Junk, Mr. Manning. Hold all those people. We found your nickel, Mr. Manning. Scattered around that junkyard across the street.
What's it doing there?
Ask him.
I don't know anything about any nickel. I just drive a truck.
Yeah, you drive a truck. Tried to drive it underneath a magnet so you'd get rid of the nickel in a hurry, but the magnet wouldn't hold it. Would you mind going across the street with Dale and identifying the nickel, Mr. Manning?
Certainly.
Shall I go with you, Mr. Manning?
Oh, you better stay here, Mrs. Barton. It's awfully dirty over there.
Record of your phone while you were out. They dug this up.
Miss Kendall, what did you say the name of your client was?
Smith.
Smith. Did he work for the Manning Corporation? Is he the one that phoned and said that the sheriff was on his way down here to get rid of the stuff? Or was his name Smith?
That's all I know.
Miss Kendall, we know that you were working with somebody on the inside of the Manning Corporation. Now, was he in the purchasing department? Head of the shipping department? Or was it Mr. Manning himself?
Don't be ridiculous. His name is Smith.
Smith. Or was his name Barton? You had a closed corporation, didn't you, Mrs. Barton? You working on the inside, your niece and her husband working on the outside, using this shop as a front to get rid of the stuff.
Don't blame them. It was my idea.
And how much did you stand to make?
Not a cent. I did it for them. They were in trouble.
They still are, Mrs. Barton. And so are you.
We consider the junk detail one of the most vital departments in the sheriff's office. Policing strategic metals is only one of their many responsibilities. Thousands of dollars worth of electric, telephone, and electronic equipment is stolen daily. The junk detail record for return of these materials and apprehension of criminals is one of the finest of all departments. Mary Barton, Lita Kendall, and Joe Dilling were found guilty and sentenced to 1 to 10 years in state prison. Now may I introduce Eugene W. Biscalous, Sheriff of Los Angeles County.
Friends, in dramatizing these cases from the Sheriff's Department on Code 3, I hope you and your families will understand more clearly some of the problems facing law enforcement agencies in this country. We hope you enjoyed Code 3, that you'll be with us again next week. Thank you very much.